Jaylen told us the other day that you guys sit next to each other on the plane. I'm wondering how that happened this season after Kristaps left and what kind of things he's been saying in your ear.
I mean, it was an open season. I just kind of moved there, but a lot of that conversation has just been like, earlier in the season, we were talking about how we felt like we needed a guy who can go in and guard the best player every night. And he kept saying to me, he said, I think it's you, I think it could be you. And I was like, all right. So I'm with you. I think so too. So he's like, I'll have a conversation with Joe and we can go from there. I was like, all right, cool. So he I guess he talked to him or whatever, and then now it is what it is.
What's clicked for you on that end?
Just like the urgency, sense of urgency to go out and do it and to be prepared to do it, doing extra film, whatever, to know how to guard these guys is definitely what made a difference.
And then you mentioned like every second you're out there on the floor, you're building confidence. What does that feel like?
It's kind of more of it's like a motivational thing, I guess, where it's kind of like every time I'm touching the ball, every time somebody passes me, every time I get an offensive rebound, it's just kind of like always using it as fuel for the next play, which is kind of like how it's been. And then also with like guys trusting me and Joe putting me in, starting me, and all that stuff makes effort towards that too.
You said, sorry.
Did you ask Jaylen before you sat down next to him on the plane, or you just like, I'm going to sit here this season?
No, I just sat down. Nah, he doesn't get a choice.
You said Jaylen talked to Joe about it. Is that the kind of thing that you meant a lot to you? Like, how did you feel when you heard that he had done that he had come, and then you see kind of the results of you kind of getting more opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like he kind of trusted in me without even having a sort of proof of it, I mean, obviously we have practice and the summer league stuff and whatnot, but him going out of his way to have that conversation, I think makes a big difference because it shows that he trusts me. And so ever since then, I just kind of got to prove to those guys that I can be trusted.
Do you guard him a lot in practice? Maybe because some of it have been him knowing how your defense is from the times you guys have been matched up?
Yeah, we play one-on-one a lot. We played 2-on-2 and stuff like that. Where I've been on him, he's been guarding me, just kind of back and forth type of competitive energy.
Jordan, after that second Orlando game, you mentioned that you talked to Hugo a little bit before going in and said all right, let's go mess the game up a little bit. How often do you have those conversations with Hugo, with Josh, with all these guys who seem to be picking up full court a lot this season? That seems to be your guys' role. How often do you talk to them about this responsibility?
I mean, every time we go in the game, every time we check in together or we're in the game together, it's always a conversation. It's mostly been with Hugo. I haven't really talked to Josh and them that much, but it's mostly been with Hugo. Whenever we're in at the same time, I was like, let's just cause havoc, make them wish we weren't on the court, you know what I'm saying? So outside of that, hasn't been much conversation, but just telling him if we come in the game, we gotta change the game.
What does he say when you bring that up to him? Is he amped up? What's his reaction when you sort of have his little?
Vamos, hermano.
At what point did Jaylen say he was going to go talk to Joe? Do you remember when that was?
This was early in the season. I still wasn't playing. I don't think I played a game yet. And he told me he was going to do it. I don't know if he actually did it, but he said he would. But it was real early in the season.
What was it like hearing your name called in that second game or your start? I know there was a mix-up in the first one, but yeah. What did the guys say? Everyone was excited they got it right this time.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy. I was happy for sure, excited. I definitely wanted to go out and just try and do the best that I could. But I mean, it's different when you see your name on the jumbotron the second time. It's different when you see that and you're like, oh yeah, this is real. It's kind of fuels you with energy and motivation for sure.
We've talked about how in-depth you get with the tendencies on the guy you're going to guard. Like with Harden, for example, what's that preparation process like for him specifically as you're going into a game like that? Are you watching a lot of film on him? You diving into numbers on kind of shots he takes? What's that like?
Yeah, it's I kind of did little walkthrough reps the day before or 2 days before, and just kind of worked on completely just shutting off his left hand, and then when he goes into a step back, kind of not letting him shoot it, but not giving the refs an excuse to call a foul. Obviously, the 3 quarters, I think I did a great job. I think the team did a great job at it, guarding him. In the fourth quarter, things kind of got away. Foul started happening, and I started fouling him, and so they put him on the line. Thankfully, we got out the game with a win. But it's more about just the urgency of being solid.
So do you go back and look at that whole game, guarding him, all the plays from that, or do you start to look forward to, all right, what's next more?
No, it's probably 2-3 possessions I look at where it's all right, you could have done better in these possessions. But you know, I don't have much time to stay on that when like the next game I got to guard Michael Porter Jr. or whoever it is. I always kind of got to shift my focus to a new player kind of like every night.
And I know you're probably not like starstruck, but like getting the opportunity on a guy like that, you know, one of the best players ever, like what does that mean to you? Like what do you think about going against a guy like that who you probably grew up watching?
I think I want to shut him down. I think that, you know, I want to, you know, make my mark in the league, and it starts with me defending guys like that. Obviously, all-time great, a great scorer, a great player. But, you know, I come in and I change the game for him. I make him uncomfortable. I make him do things he doesn't want to do. Then it's, you know, it's a platform for me, you know.
When you weren't playing, were you still going through the process of studying tendencies of opposing stars, or is it like you're not going to do it to the same extent when you're probably not going to actually get that opportunity?
I was more focusing on everybody as a whole, kind of like learning the tendencies of everybody, so it was a little bit lesser, but like knowing which way everybody drives, if they shoot or not, and then like what they like to do. But now the role has kind of like been like, you're going to be on the star guy. Whenever he checks into the game, you check in. And so now it's kind of like more laser focused on him, obviously still knowing the other guys, but knowing exactly how I can impact him is definitely the main focus.
How do you guys maintain that urgency against this Nets team that you know was struggling this season?
The standard doesn't change. It's still always going to be, you know, control the rebounds, control the things that we can, you know, limit them to one shot, take away their threes. You know, this team shoots a lot of threes, trying to, you know, limit them to as many as, you know, we can. And then rebounding and forcing one shot offense is the focus. And I think that's the focus every game. But trying to eliminate, you know, guys like Michael Porter Jr., you know, trying to get them out of the game so that they don't cause as much of an impact is definitely the goal.